Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day for all you champions that want to grow. The perfect people, the amazing people are the ones that keep on growing and keep on exploring how to become a better husband and a better wife. So let's continue from last week. So now you know your wife's feelings were hurt. You were respectful. You asked her what should you say instead when you're upset that the house is messy. What do you do now? She said she doesn't know. You can't walk away and say, so screw you, excuse me. What else should I say? What, should I lie and say I love the house? No. She said she doesn't know. We explained last week the various possibilities that could be why the house is a mess. The next step, there's a few steps you could take. Let's go to number one. The next step you could take is ask her, which will score you and to your wife lots of points within the relationship. Ask her, how does it feel when you decide you want to clean up the house and suddenly it just doesn't happen? Like, how do you feel? This is extremely rare for a husband to be so loving and so understanding. It usually doesn't happen because we never saw our parents do it, not because we're bad or cruel. That can melt her heart in the most beautiful way. She might cry and open up to you like she never did in her life and say, you know what? I'm embarrassed, but every time I start and I want to, it just feels like I have to clean up the whole entire world. It feels like a burden. And she might tell you various stuff, which is true if it's depression. The next thing she might tell you, if you ask her the same question, she might look you straight in the face and say, to be honest with you, this doesn't bother me. This doesn't bother me at all. My main focus in life is more about how the children feel and how they're doing emotionally. And sometimes this is a response when our mothers or our parents weren't sensitive. So now our whole life focus is about being sensitive to the children, but we forget about the house. It almost doesn't bother us because we have this PTSD or this deep focus on focusing on the children's emotional well-being, which is very important, but now we lost the balance of keeping the house neat. So she says the second answer could be, well, she tells you the truth. I have to be honest with you. I don't feel anything. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm totally fine. In that answer, there's a big possibility, because you was probably your mother-in-law's house. That's the way her mother's house was. I never seen a situation where a person, could be there is, but I haven't seen it yet in my life, where a person could be totally comfortable with a mess where their parents' home was sort of clean. It only applies if their parents were overly clean and OCD and just not letting anyone breathe, and when they saw a crumb on the floor they used to have tantrums. That's another reason why people want to have a dirty house. I didn't even realize it now. So that's the third situation. So sometimes women will want to have a dirty house because that's the way they're staying safe. Which means my mother or father used to freak out when there's a crumb on the floor. There's 5 or 10 kids at home, and their mother would not allow the children to be children because, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, what happened? Is there a fire? No, a crumb of a cookie fell on the floor. Now that's a disaster. That's like, my gosh. So a lot of these adult children, they flip the other way. Instead of being sort of balanced in the middle, it's okay to have a few crumbs on the floor, we'll keep the house clean, is now they flip. They don't want to be their mother by freaking out, so now they have sort of a comfort of being messy. This is beyond complex. So I think we're going to finish up over here, because every week I say I'm going to finish up. I'm not going to finish up. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a longer one. So then you suggest the following to your wife, which most people never uttered this language, but it's a beautiful language, where you validate whatever answer she gives you, or whichever answer you don't understand that she doesn't understand, and then you say, I respect you, but my dear wife, I respect myself as well. And I don't want to lie to you, because some husbands lie. I can't lie to you. It really bothers me. But I understand there's something going on in your heart. There's something going on in your psyche that although you do have the time, it's hard for you to get this house sort of in shape and all together. What do you suggest about going to a professional and having a conversation so then you could be happy and I could be happy? And that's so beautiful. Like, who's going to be against two people being happy? And that's a beautiful suggestion. So deflection is not taking responsibility. It's usually filled with judgment, and it only makes things disgusting, not 98%, but 100%. Within the last few weeks, I have taught you, yes, life is very complex, but there is a manual. Building a car, something I can't do. But if I would read a manual, me and you would be able to build a car one step at a time. I just put together another day a closet. I had no clue what to do. There was a manual with 32 steps. Some of them were very confusing as usual, but I did it because I followed a manual. We don't get a manual to life. We get a manual to stupidity that we never ever have to use. We have curriculums that are 300 years old that we don't need to use anymore. But a manual to life we have never gotten. If anything, the manual to life that we have is a broken manual from most of our parents that were destructive. For example, most parents use deflecting as a mechanism. That's the only thing we know. But yet, as you could see in the last few weeks in this episode, that it doesn't work and it hurts us. Forget about hurting the other person, it hurts us. And we don't even realize that we still use it, but we don't know anything else to use. So when we get stuck, and she says she doesn't know on a conscious level, but getting professional help would be very effective, and she would be touched because she's respected throughout this whole process and she doesn't feel judged. She sees a husband that's authentic, that really does say he's unhappy, but yet he won't be a bulldozer and run over his wife. He wants to make sure that she's happy too, and basically being sensitive to her feelings and seeing, could we talk to professional? Not that you're messed up and you have to go to professional. It's like, I have my needs, you have your needs, and they're obviously clashing. The needs, well, subconsciously, the needs of having a messy house. Yeah, there's a part of us that wants a messy house. There is, even though a part of us wants the house to be clean. Oh, the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, they're always at war. Even some women would like to have a clean house right over here, but in the amygdala, in the two parts of the amygdala, that says, we're not having a clean house, like we discussed earlier. So therefore, respectfully, let's have a conversation. Let's go to a professional. Otherwise, you're going to be doing this for another 2 decades and always whining, complaining, and the marriage gets any worse and worse and worse. Now, what I suggested till here will not always work, like we'll talk about next week. There are situations that it will not work, and we'll talk about it. But 90 to 95%, I think that this dialogue, how we do it so sensitively and so gradually, and we think about the details of how to go about it in the most respectful way, because people are intrinsically good, and if we believe in it, you will see it again and again, even though they're not acting good, and even though the house is a mess, and even though it shouldn't be that way, but they are intrinsically good. Thanks for listening, and have an awesome and delightful day. And you always, please do remember that you are way greater than you think you are.